Hello, and welcome to the first official episode of D-ODORANT, a channel dedicated to strange and interesting facts about Star Wars lore. In this episode, we are going to be covering the wacky canon surrounding Jar Jar's life after Episode 3. As a quick reminder, last we saw Jar Jar in Episode 3, he had made the disastrous mistake of proposing that the Senate give emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine, largely giving him the power necessary to form the Galactic Empire. Later, in a scene that was deleted in the final cut of Episode 3, Jar Jar is seen with the rest of the senators in the Chancellor's office to present the Petition of 2000, which formally protested Palpatine's actions during the Clone Wars and asked him to relieve his emergency powers when the Clone Wars had ended. While this scene was cut from Episode 3, it can be found in the Revenge of the Sith novel and continues to be canon due to a canonical description of Mina Tills which references the petition. Of course, this petition was completely ignored by Palpatine, who still went ahead to end the Republic and form the Galactic Empire. Despite his attempt at redemption through the Petition of 2000, it was far too late for Jar Jar, and his mistake led him to be once again banished from Otoh Gunga, the Gungan underwater city seen in Episode 1 and briefly in the Clone Wars. His fellow Gungans believed that Jar Jar had intentionally aided Palpatine in creating the Empire, and as such would no longer allow him to return to his home. Little is known regarding his whereabouts and actions up until 5 ABY, where he returns in the canon novel Aftermath: Empire's End. At this point in time, ostracized by both his Gungan brethren and the general public of Naboo, Jar Jar has decided to become a local entertainer, performing for those located in the city of Theed. His performances largely consisted of wiggling his tongue, likely in a similar fashion to what was seen in The Phantom Menace, juggling glombo shells, a type of shell only referenced in the novel, spitting fish into the air and catching them, dancing, and swallowing and flushing water out through his ears. While the adults of Theed largely shunned the Gungan, refusing to say his name or even speak to him, many of the city's children adored him, lovingly referring to him as the Clown. Jar Jar found great solace in bringing smiles and laughter to others, and it helped him cope with his role in the rise of the Empire. During one of Jar Jar's performances, he met a young orphan named Mappo. Due to a bombing run by the Empire, Mappo had lost his parents and had been severely burned. Because of these burns, Mappo found it difficult to find people to talk to, let alone someone to adopt him. As Jar Jar had become publicly shunned after his role in the Empire's rise, he found it easy to relate to Mappo. At Mappo's request, Jar Jar agreed to take Mappo on as his Clown Apprentice, teaching him the tricks and moves that he had learned as an entertainer. Jar Jar exclaimed, "Bein' clownin' is bombad too. My teachin' you, sa Paolo. We'sa making the whole galaxy smilin', huh?" Presumably he went on to bring smiles and laughter to countless young children on Naboo, with Mappo working alongside him and continuing to learn his craft. However, that is not the last notable place that Jar Jar is referenced in Star Wars lore. In Season 2, Episode 1 of The Mandalorian, a wall filled with graffiti is seen in the background of a few shots. Among the various tags and messages spelled out in Arabic upon the wall, there is one very interesting phrase found near the bottom of the wall. When translated, it is found that the phrase is Jar Sith, with the H seemingly being obstructed by the column to the right. While this could just say Jar Jar Sith actually makes more sense when it comes to the in-universe canon. In the canon novel, The Legends of Luke Skywalker, a group of deckhands are sharing stories and theories while traveling through space. One of them, named Reddy, states, "Speaking of Naboo sardine fritters, did you know that Senator Jar Jar Binks and Lord Vader were the same person?" This statement by Reddy shows what may have been a popular rumor regarding the origin of Darth Vader and the opinion of Jar Jar following the events of Revenge of the Sith. Darth Vader's identity was a very well-kept secret, leaving lots of room for public speculation regarding who was behind his menacing mask. It makes a lot of sense that Jar Jar would be a popular option given his accidental role in the birth of the Empire. While this rumor certainly doesn't canonize the possibility of Jar Jar being a Sith Lord, it is definitely weird to know that some of the people of the Star Wars universe may have actually believed that Jar Jar was Darth Vader, one of the most ruthless and powerful beings in the entire galaxy. Darth Jar Jar rumors aside, that is everything we know regarding Jar Jar's life following the events of Episode 3. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Wacky Canon. If you want to see more content like this, as well as theories, thoughts, and interesting facts regarding the newly released High Republic era of Star Wars, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.